Just 1 minute. Okay, so good evening, everyone. And so, in our vast network, right, there are some heroes who ignite our souls and they emerge. Their work surges with a lot of positive energy, propels us into action, and unleashes waves of change. And one of these heroes is Savini Sonavaria, an absolute trailblazer. She's the visionary founder of Pashu Pakshi, crafting destination specific, socially responsible souvenirs that champion wildlife, spark sustainable livelihoods, and ignite local pride to safeguard precious ecosystems. A wildlife warrior at heart, Savini also enjoys dancing. She's a foodie and loves traveling. And three words that come to my mind when I think of her: hardworking, passionate, and determined. So, and Pashu Pakshi completes 10 years in 2026, and I'm absolutely delighted to host her uh, with what has been a very successful decade. So, Savini, massive congratulations to you and your powerhouse team.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
Absolutely legendary journey, and I'm absolutely delighted to host you in the premiere episode of Inspired Circles, where journeys like yours will empower all of us to drive a change.
Thank you so much for having me here, Abhishek. I'm really happy to start this journey with you.
Fantastic. And a shout out to our huge audience who's joining us and those who are already there. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining us. So, Savini, would you have like really imagined that when we met first in 2004, I would be hosting you on this podcast like 22 years later?
Not a chance. Not a chance. I don't know. Not at all, in fact. No probability.
Yeah, seriously, same here. But I'm actually beaming with pride and I'm really happy to host here. I can't keep reiterating
Thank you. Thank you so much.
it. Superb. So, Samini, I'm very eager to dive in. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've never really heard this side of the story. Uh, from engineering to corporate life to Pashu Pakshi. So, how did this whole groundbreaking idea take root, Savini?
Well, I don't think it was ever something that I had planned. I just think a lot of experiences in my life kind of led me to taking this initiative up. Um, I have always been, I mean, from the time I can remember, I have always been a nature enthusiast, right since childhood. My parents also have helped me observe the world outside, appreciate nature. But I do think I fell in love with the forest when I did my first wildlife safari with my parents in Ranthambore. I was in the
Okay.
seventh grade. So I
Okay.
knew that I had fallen in love with it, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do about it or anything of that sort. And of course, then I have gone to Bandipur with you as well.
Yeah.
That was after a really long gap. In fact, sometime
Yeah.
I'm not sure 2007 or 8. I'm not sure,
That's when you
but
spotted your first tiger, right, Savini?
exactly. I followed my
Yeah.
first time with you,
Yeah.
and yeah. So I always knew that I was in love with the forest, and I would really want to do something for conservation, but I wasn't sure what. And it always just struck me that maybe that is just something like volunteering work or something of that sort. But when I was doing my master's in BITS Pilani, I got this opportunity to do my thesis in a cross-functional way with IIT Chennai, this organization called Nature Conservation Foundation in Bangalore.
Okay.
My thesis. So they invited engineers who were into telecommunications and signals and systems to apply for this project. And
Okay.
it is in India. Nobody really applied because everyone wants a paid internship.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was the only one who applied, and they were interested in somebody who was interested in birds as well. So yeah, so I got the internship, and it was a year-long project that I had to do with
Okay.
Nature Conservation Foundation. And that is when I got to interact with a lot of wildlife conservation scientists and researchers upfront and personally.
Okay.
And through the year, I kept listening to conversations about human wildlife conflict situations, the issue of livelihood that was happening near, protected forests and protected reserves. And
Okay.
what struck me as that how do normal civilians know about this? I had no clue. And I thought I was a nature enthusiast, but I had no clue that there were all these pressing issues and matter of livelihood as well as lives, which was such a big issue all through the country because India still has a very large forest cover. And
Correct.
most of these organizations tried to have livelihood projects that were more often than not successful. Well, because they are researchers, their focus is on science. It's not that they were not
Correct.
trying.
Correct.
And with for a livelihood initiative to survive, whether it's agro produce or crafts, you need to have certain market expertise, market linkages, and it requires a
Correct.
whole different vision. So
Correct.
think and I knew that because I used to do wildlife safaris, I knew that there was this well-heeled traveling audience that was going to for tiger safaris, who was ready to buy these kind of products that would help give back to local communities. So
Okay.
I think it was the fact that I was not from science and not from wildlife that kind of helped me link this bridge. Oh, that
Correct.
what, there's somebody in tourism who could buy, and the communities here need help. So yeah, that's how the idea struck in 2016, and somehow I mustered to take the plunge. Yeah,
Fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, I'm sure it must have been uh, a very weird decision, right? When you had to really take the plunge, you're
yeah.
stepping into the unknown. You had to unlearn, relearn a lot of things, and
Yep.
understand the ecosystem better.
Yeah, it definitely was a very tough decision. In fact, I had moved to Mumbai because I had an offer with L&T to join back L&T again.
Yeah,
And yeah, so it was about either taking up that job or taking this plunge. And well, I don't know how I did it. Now that I think of it, I don't know how I did it, but well,
yeah.
here I am. So
You have. I can tell you that you've not just done it, Savini. You have sustained. Right. It's very easy to start something, and some people get very excited by the thought of certain things, and we all start something, right? But the hardest part is to sustain, and you have sustained. You have uh, withstood COVID, right? Which must have been a very difficult phase. We will come to that.
yeah,
But the fact that you have sustained is in itself a great achievement.
thank,
So really hats off to you and your team behind it. So
thank you.
so tell us, how has Pashu Pakshi evolved over the last 10 years in terms of products and business models, Savini?
Right. So when I started it, I was very clear about one thing, that I would not take the retail path. I was very clear about the fact that I was doing this for livelihood impact. I was doing this because I wanted to make sure that there was enough work for communities to sustain their livelihoods. And because I was unfunded, there was no funds. It was only my savings, help from Nikhil and my family, that I
Yeah,
started this journey. And no matter how glossy it looks on Instagram and social media, retail
yeah,
actually burns a lot of money, especially in marketing and awareness creation. So for me,
absolutely.
it was very strategic that I had to go B2B, and I had to focus on tourism because it was an untapped sector. Literally nobody in the country was doing it.
Yeah,
Nobody was making destination specific souvenirs. We are the
yeah,
pioneers in it. So for me, I knew that that was an opening, and so that's how I started. So also, what happens with B2B is that when you get an order, you get a volume order. So which means
yeah,
there's volume of work for the communities as well.
yeah,
Um, I knew that that is what I was going to do. How I wanted to do it, I had no idea. And
yeah,
I started experimenting with a small community center in Mumbai, a
yeah.
small women's SHG. And coincidentally, the products that we sampled over there were noticed by the Urvi Ashok Piramal Foundation. And
Okay.
the Piramal family themselves actually personally called me up, and they said that, what, we
Oh,
are
really?
having this community center in Pench, and we've not really seen anybody do something like this. So why don't you come and start training? And this
Okay.
is me, somebody who's done my master's in engineering. I have no idea how to stitch.
Correct.
I saw a lot of YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for it. So
Yeah.
that's how it started in 2017. I got the opportunity to start my first community center in Painch National
Okay.
Park in
Okay.
MP. Um, Of course, yeah. I mean, the struggles were unreal, but it took me about 2 years to get that going. And looking at that, somebody got to know of us in the Kanha National Park, and we were invited by the Forest Department in Kanha to recreate
Okay.
that same thing in Kanha.
Very
So then
nice.
in 2018, we started our center in Kanha. And
Okay.
then 2019, the Madhya Pradesh Tourism Board again noticed the two centers, what we do. And then they
Okay.
invited us to start two centers in Panna. So it was actually just word of mouth about the good work that we were doing and the kind of
Fantastic.
impact creating. I really did not go and I didn't, fortunately, I did not have to go and pitch anywhere. So yeah, so that's how by 2021 we had 4 craft centers. Um,
Okay.
Team also has slowly grown. It started with only me. Then slowly we were 2 people, 3 people. Today I am fortunate enough to have 11 full-time members working in my head office in Mumbai. I have
Very nice.
four retail in charges in different locations, and I have 5 community coordinators on ground as well, and of course working with 100 women in total. So yeah, it's been a really long and slow journey, but a good one.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Superb. So, Savini, I visited your center in Panna, and you spoke about your centers. We'll talk about it now. And I personally visited the center in Panna, and I was completely blown away by, the way it was impacting the local community. In fact, to be very honest with you, if I had entered Panna and prima facie looking at that particular place, right, I would have never imagined the locals there doing the kind of work that they were doing with you. And it was very, very heartwarming. So you spoke about some of your centers right now, other than Panna as well. So can you just tell us how many centers are there right now? And you recently opened one in Bihar as well.
Yeah,
So just tell us about how many centers are there right now, what really happens at these centers, and the kind of impact that these centers are creating, Savini.
right. So unfortunately, one of my first center, the one in Painch, had to shut down last year for
Okay.
just reasons beyond our control. It was very
Okay.
unfortunate. It's been 8 years. But yes, it started with Painch, then one in Kanha, 2 of them in Panna. We also
Okay.
always have had a center in a slum area in Santa Cruz in Mumbai. So that's 5. And then now the 6th one in Valmiki Tiger Reserve. So
Wow.
totally we have 6 community centers. And I think something that I have always, me and my team actually both have always taken pride about our community centers is that the way we train and the model that we work with, it always tends to make our artisans thinkers. So it's not
Okay.
only about impacting their lives quantitatively, but it's also about impacting their lives qualitatively. And I will give you an
Wow.
example by what I mean. We
Yeah.
have a center in Mumbai, and in Mumbai, what happens is because of the close proximity, the artisans over there are very quick to reach out to us for any sort of an issue.
Correct. Correct.
Something's not working, we are there to fix it. Something's not being
Yes.
understood, we're there to fix it. But our
Yes.
model, the way it works in my other community centers, is that we visit them only twice a year. Everything
Okay.
else is done remotely over the phone, over video calls, over WhatsApp chats, etc.
Correct.
This distance actually makes them self-reliant, also
Yeah.
slowly self-sufficient. That when something
Yeah.
goes wrong, they need to know how to fix it. When something goes
Yeah.
wrong, they need to see a video, understand it, interpret it, and solve the problem and still deliver the products. So
Yeah.
over the years, what I have seen is the kind of thinking capacity that has grown in our artisans is something
Yeah.
I really take pride in, because
Fantastic.
and sometimes the thinking also results in conflicts with us because they can
Okay.
think, they start to
Yeah.
question, and because they start to
Yeah.
question, they have conflicts with us. And yes, conflicts are
Yeah.
hard, but I also do see that as progress because for a lot of women who
Absolutely.
come to our centers, they never spoke up. They
Okay.
never had a safe space to work, and they
Okay.
never had friends who were beyond family. For most of the
Yeah.
women in India, in rural communities, their women friends are their family. You know,
Yeah.
their chachi, mami,
Correct.
tai. It's never other
Correct.
friends. So
Correct.
suddenly they have other women to talk to. They
Correct.
become confident. They start having savings. So many of
Yeah.
my artisans who've been working with me for 5 plus years have either become equal contributors at their homes or the single
Wow.
largest contributors in their homes, where they can
Wow.
take decisions like removing their kids from a municipal school and putting them in a private schools. We have also
Fantastic.
examples.
Fantastic.
Many of them have got themselves sewing machine. One young girl has bought herself a scooter. So
Yeah.
all those small things actually change their personality as well. um,
Absolutely.
on the other side, it gets harder for us to keep them motivated and to keep them going. But
Correct.
I do think that if you are into a social impact sector,
Yeah.
just quantitative progress cannot be measured as progress. It has to be both.
Correct.
It has to be qualitative and it has to be quantitative. Because
Absolutely.
only if someone just keeps earning a good wage, um, it's like mazduri actually.
Correct. Correct.
Unfortunately, a lot of time corporate jobs also end up being like that. We are just service
Correct.
providers,
Correct.
not really, getting that sort of growth or getting that sort of purpose in life at times.
Correct.
Um,
Correct.
so yeah, I do think that when there is any life progress to be measured, it has to be both quantitative and qualitative. And I do feel that our unique model kind of helps communities do that.
Absolutely. No, totally agree with you on the quantitative and qualitative front. And I love that. I absolutely love that point, Savini, that you made, that you're getting people to think, right? It's so important in today's day and age to get people to think and to empower them to take certain decisions.
Exactly.
Even that, that small decision of just watching a video, as you said, and rectifying that mistake, and staying self-reliant. I think that word self-reliant that you made, extremely important. And like, fantastic stuff. I really didn't know that you had a center here in Bangalore as well.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah. Yeah. So Savini, I really want people to experience the work at these centers.
Yeah.
Like, what can they do if some, and especially there are when people of families typically go on safaris, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure kids, etc., would love to experience, kids and adults both would love to experience the work at these centers. So operationally, what is it that someone needs to do, Savini, if they have to experience something at one of your centers?
Sure. So I think I'm going to also speak generically over here. That of course I'll be more than happy if any of the viewers here will visit any of the Pashu Pakshi centers. So
Yeah.
once our centers cross the 3-year mark, we start hosting these workshops called Make Your Own Souvenir Workshop. And you can
Okay.
just write us an email. The email is there on our website, or even the contact number is there on our website, and just inquire about the availability of a workshop, and we book it. Of
Okay.
course, there are charges applicable because you get to make your own souvenir, and the guest gets to take that back with them. Um,
Yeah.
but what I would like to emphasize over here is that as a traveler, I think it's very important that travel becomes beyond just seeing the destination. I think it's super
Yeah.
important
Absolutely.
that it becomes about interacting with locals. And
Yeah.
in the last 15 years, I would definitely say that interacting with locals has become a lot about food, which is great because it's obviously easier
Correct.
and more inviting. Food has
Correct.
definitely progressed when it comes to interactions, but not so much culture and crafts, and just general interactions with them. And in
Correct.
India, what happens is that the safari tourism space, everyone gets very tiger centric, and I
Yeah.
understand. It's an amazing, beautiful animal to see.
Yeah.
So, but people just come and do back to back safaris, stay in a good luxury hotel, and go away. So,
Yeah.
whether you're doing a wildlife tourism safari or any other destination in India, I would, really encourage travelers to inquire if there are any sort of local interactive attractions that are there.
Yeah.
The workshop that we host in Pashupakshi, because you've also done it, is not so
Yeah.
much about printing the t-shirt as much it is actually about interacting with the community. You get to speak to
Absolutely.
them, they get to see that their work is being recognized. There is certain pride
Absolutely.
that comes in, and with that pride comes the sensibility of preserving the destination, which is so
Yeah.
important. You don't
Very
need to
true.
put up boards and host that, oh my God, keep your village clean, safai, swachhata. All this comes
Yeah,
naturally. There is a sense of pride in preserving the destination. And I think that would
absolutely.
only happen when locals, especially women, see
Yeah,
that they are not indifferent to the tourism that's coming in. They are a part
yes,
of it.
yes,
Unfortunately, all over the country, tourism so significantly impacts jobs for men, but not so much
yeah,
for women. Women
yeah,
still end up in the background. But if you want to
correct.
preserve the destination, I think women have to be got to the forefront of it. And
Very true.
so, yes, happily, yeah, I'd be happy if anybody visits any of my centers for these kind of interactions. But in general, if you're traveling, I think it's important that we inquire about what are the kind of local interactions that's just beyond food that somebody could do.
Yeah, yeah, very true. So, Savini, can they write on this email ID that we can see here?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's where it is. Even
Okay,
the phone
so
number works. You can WhatsApp us, call us, and there's always someone to answer.
fantastic. So any of you watching this, and the next time you happen to travel to Panna and to Bihar, right? Uh,
Kanha.
and Shavini is the one in Santa Cruz also. Can
No,
does it
not
also
that.
offer something?
No,
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 it
not
doesn't.
yet.
Okay. So anyone who is traveling to Panna, to Bihar, and the others that Savini mentioned, you can write into this email ID that you see here on the screen, and also you can call or WhatsApp this number that is there on the screen. And as Savini rightly pointed out, right, uh, it's not just about the food. There are so many things, to a place that we don't end up seeing. That you know, it actually, this particular experience integrates all that, and it's very important to interact with locals, as she rightly pointed out. And Savini, fantastic. I really hope that more people reach out to you, more people experience this, and as you rightly said, that the locals will in turn take pride in what they are doing, and everything will in turn come very naturally to them.
Yeah.
So fantastic. So Savini, I was just going through your website, and I was seeing these community initiatives, Savini, the Conservation Wildlands Trust, the Madhya Pradesh Tourism Board, the Hargila Army, WRCS, and the list that is mentioned here.
Yeah.
So, can you just tell us something about this?
Yeah. So this was actually so this is an umbrella that we call Crafts for Conservation.
Okay,
Crafts for Conservation is the brand name that we've given our souvenir shops as well. We have a souvenir shop in
okay,
Bandhavgarh as well as a souvenir shop in Tadoba.
yeah,
This was something that we did to survive COVID, to be very honest.
okay,
Because tourism was on its low point. We knew we had to
yeah,
pivot and survive 2 years without tourism. And the only way to
yeah,
do that was probably online.
yeah,
And back in 2020, Pashupakshi did not have a very wide catalog of products. We
okay,
had a good number, but it was not enough to probably do really well on our website.
okay,
Um, so anyways, we started building our website, and actually coincidentally a couple of these organizations back then reached out to us and said that, since you guys already have a platform during COVID, would you guys like to, probably list our products, because even
yeah,
we are struggling. And I realized at that
okay,
time that, yeah, if we were struggling, I'm sure the other organizations were struggling as well.
yeah,
Yeah, so it started with onboarding 3 wildlife organizations, which
okay.
are actually much larger organizations in terms of scale as compared to Pashupakshi is, and probably
Oh,
impact
is
as
it?
well.
Okay,
But of course, they
okay,
all work for conservation and science. And their
okay,
community and livelihood initiatives is a smaller part of what they do. But as an organization, they're much
okay,
older and larger in size. So
okay,
it was surprising for me as well that they, seeked us out to, list for them. And we
okay,
tried it, and it really worked both ways, because they also spread their word about reaching out and buying products from us, from our website.
yeah,
Our credibility as a conservation related organization started increasing because we were supporting all these conservation organizations. So in
very true.
2020 we started just with 5 organizations, and today we are at 24, which include
Fantastic.
like honey, agro produce,
Yeah,
soaps, crafts,
yeah,
weaving. everything in the scope. And it was only because of these collaborations that we were actually first able to open our first souvenir shop in
Yeah.
2023 in Bandhavgarh, because it
Yeah.
had all of these variety.
Yeah.
And the stress also was then not alone on the Pashupakshi team to make sure that we have constantly stocked up, but that variety comes in from all organizations, but also extended geography of the country.
Perfect.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Correct.
and the crafts for
Correct.
conservation so like Pashupakshi directly impacts 100 artisans, but the Crafts for Conservation initiative impacts 450 artisans in all.
Wow.
So it extends our impact to a very different scale, which would have otherwise been very difficult for me to reach.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, I I didn't know that. There are 25 such initiatives today. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. Yeah, it's quite
Amazing.
cool.
And the point that you rightly made, that extending beyond certain geographies, right?
Yeah.
I think that is very important, and that is what happens when you put one plus one together. You actually end up becoming 11. And
Exactly.
the other point that you made, which is actually very important as you complete 10 years, is building your credibility in this space.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so when these large organizations list you on their platforms as well, it truly goes a long way in building that credibility, and I think that is going to be a very important part for you as you move forward.
Yeah, I do hope so. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, yeah, superb. So Savini, you spoke about your craft for conservation shops, right? um, I still remember we all had caught up before your first store opened,
Yeah.
and you were so excited. I can you were so excited that the store was going to open in Bandhavgarh.
Yeah.
And you opened one in Tadoba as well. So Savini, tell us more about these one of a kind shops, and more importantly, Savini, I want people to visit these shops when they are at Bandhavgarh and Tadoba.
Yeah.
So tell us about where they can find them as well. So yeah, over to you.
Yes, well, so firstly, geographically, to visit Bandhavgarh, it is on the northern side of MP. The closest airport is Jabalpur or Khajuraho Airport. There are also some great Vande Bharat trains that take you to Katni, and then there's a 1.5 hour drive. So yeah, Bandhavgarh is a gorgeous forest, one of the best national parks in MP. Some beautiful tigers to see over there and beautiful landscapes. So if anyone plans Bandhavgarh, that's where we are. That's our first shop. And of course, Tadoba, I don't think I need to introduce. Everyone knows Tadoba. Everyone who wants to first see a tiger goes to Tadoba, because there's
Yeah,
a chance of 100% sighting over there. So we are
yeah.
right at the Mokerli gate, which is the main gate of
Okay,
Tadoba National Park, and we are just 50 meters away. It's hard to miss
okay.
us. We are a bright orange colored shop. So if you
Yeah,
cross us, you will stop. But if I have to speak about the shops, I would really suggest whoever travels to these places to visit them, or look at our Instagram about how we have planned these shops. Um, Simply because I think we put in a lot of design thinking into how the shop has to look.
yeah,
If you go to a Singapore or London or New York or any of these high tourist footfall areas, you will
yeah,
always see these beautiful souvenir shops, huge souvenir shops, which
yeah,
have everything from $1 to $100. So, and they're displayed so well and they're decorated so
yeah,
well that even if you don't want to buy anything, you will buy something and get off that shop.
yeah,
Um, Unfortunately, a lot of that comes from China, but
yeah,
that is just how it is in these large footfall tourism areas. However, in
yeah,
India, curated souvenir shops are actually still really less. A lot of
yeah,
curated souvenir shops that you see cater to textiles, which of course India is very famous for.
yeah,
And a lot of stereotypical Indian souvenirs like a blingy cow and an
yeah,
elephant and Kashmiri carpets that we've been seeing for decades. Since I'm
yeah,
born, I've been seeing it and I still see it. So we had to
yeah.
take a very known decision that we wanted our shop to look like a souvenir shop, not
Okay,
like a retail or an apparel shop. We wanted
yeah,
it to be something that, in a similar experience, every sort of a traveler, whether you're a backpacker or a well-heeled traveler, can buy
yeah,
something. So we
yeah,
have products right from like 70 rupees to like 3,000 rupees. So a traveler
Wow.
of budget should be able to buy something, and
Yeah.
every budget gives back to local economy. So
Yeah.
it need not be a China made product. It need not be an environmentally
Yeah.
unsustainable product for a traveler to contribute in the right way. So that
Yeah.
was something that we really thought about, and I think that is what these two shops are, and that's why I was so happy to open them, because it was something that I had imagined many years back, and
Yeah.
it was quite overwhelming to see it come to life for me as well as my team,
Yeah.
who really backed me up at that time. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, again, for the audience who's watching, and for those who will watch this in future as well, uh, Bandhavgarh and Tadoba. Remember these two names. If you happen to visit these two places, craft for conservation shops uh, in Tadoba outside Moharli Gate, right
Yeah.
outside Moharli Gate. Please do visit, take a look. Your support actually means a lot to the entire team and as well as the locals out there. So, Savini spoke about the design thinking that has gone into these shops. Definitely go and reflect. And Savini, I'm sure that when we do another podcast in 2036, when Savini and her team completes 20 years, uh, I think I'm sure we would look back at this and say, हाँ यार अरे दो ही शॉप था क्या तभी मतलब अभी तो यार 10-15 हो गए हैं तो fantastic Savini. I
I
mean
hope so.
really
I
good,
hope
and I'm sure a lot of them will visit these shops. Also, Savini, you've spoken about, we've covered a lot of the journey so far, and I'm sure there are some moments which you vividly remember and which really keep you going, right? Because as you pointed out somewhere in the beginning, right, it's very hard to keep yourself motivated also. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are these moments that when you are down, you look back at those moments and you just keep surging forward?
Uh, okay, actually, there are so many, and it's hard for me to.
One or two if you had to pick, Savini.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, two of them are from my bench center, which was my baby center, and it unfortunately shut down. But one of them is a rather sad story, and one of them is a great one. So I'm going to go with the sad
Okay.
one first. So one of
Yeah.
the girls who used to work for my community center, her name was Chaya.
Okay.
And back then, Pashupakshi was really young as well, and we really could not give enough work.
Okay.
I was trying really hard to make sure that they earn at least 3,000 a month. While I know that
Okay.
sounds really less, the communities we work with earn less than 2 lakhs a year. A family earns
Yeah.
less than 2 lakhs a year. So
Okay.
3 to 4,000 a month is actually significant amount of money. It's more than 40% of their contribution. So
Okay.
that was the aim, that they have to earn about 3 to 4,000. It took me
Yeah.
about years, and so many women did not have the patience to wait for us and
Yeah.
left. But there was this girl Chaya who waited, and she started
Okay.
earning 1,500, 5,000 every month. And I was so happy, but I did not realize why that money was so important to her.
Yeah.
Just 6 months before we started the center, she actually lost her father because her father could not pay up a loan amount of 4,000 rupees. And for that 4,000 rupees, he was murdered. So
Oh
that is
God.
something that really strikes me, that I think that 4,000 is so less. Probably everyone
Yeah.
who's listening here would think that 4,000 is so less. But
Yeah.
that 4,000 actually killed somebody. So I
Yeah.
think it makes me realize that that is the kind of impact that we are creating. So
Yeah.
whenever I am disappointed, I go back to that story,
Yeah.
to keep myself motivated. The other story is this girl Sulochana, who I said bought herself her scooter.
Yeah.
In Pench, we were working in the so-called last forest of Pench. It's called
Yeah.
Ambadi, and
Okay.
about 70 degrees of Ambadi is covered with the core forest of Pench. So literally,
Okay.
tigers are in their backyard. They can hear tigers roar when they're having their morning cup of tea. It's literally
Is
in
it?
with the forest. Yeah.
Is
So
it?
for
Oh
them,
wow.
yeah, so for them to actually get out to the market, which is about 15 kilometers away, was always a life-threatening thing. Most of the people over there did not have two-wheelers, or even cycles. They used to have bullock carts to go away. So she was actually the first woman in 3 villages who saved up enough money to buy a scooter. which then her family also uses. So I think that was such an inspiring story for me. I did not
Fantastic,
realize
man.
she had saved up that money, but that actually happened because of our community center. Um, so yeah, and the last story I would like to share is about these two
Yeah.
fantastic women in Kanha,
Okay.
um, Indrakala and Vandana, who've been with me
Okay.
since 2018, and
Okay.
both of them today are the highest earning members of their family, if not the
Wow.
highest, equal to their husbands. So they contribute about 50% or more to the family's income. And last year, they actually, withdrew their kids from the municipal school and put them in a private school, which is slightly away. And they even arranged a
Fantastic.
bus service, a paid bus service for the kids to go to that school. And I think
Amazing, man. This is,
we don't even realize it. In fact, I'm the last person to know. In my entire team, I'm always the last person to know. I guess because
okay.
of my position, most of the artisans probably are afraid to share these things with me. But it's my team who gets to know these stories when they visit our centers. And they are the ones who
Yeah.
let me know. So I get really surprised and overwhelmed as to, oh my God, I'm not even realizing how impactful this is. Because
Yeah.
sometimes actually all the time, every single day can be such a hustle. You're so involved in
Absolutely.
meeting deadlines, making sure there's cash flow, which is the next
Yeah.
order, are women turning up, that in all that you don't see this background effect, um, that is slowly taking place. In
Yeah.
fact, we probably blurred to it most of the times.
Yeah.
And it's when we take the time out to go and meet them, and my girls sit and have a cup of chai with them or go to their homes for
Yeah.
dinner, all these stories come out, and I'm probably the last one to know of them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Fantastic, Savini. I mean, no kidding. Both stories, I had goosebumps. I mean,
Thank you.
and as you said, right, 4,000. For us, 4,000 means, say, meal at a restaurant, maybe, right? Around that
Exactly,
much.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
for two people, yeah, a meal at a restaurant, a good fancy
Yep,
restaurant.
yep.
But it can actually take away someone's life. And I will also remember this, Savini. I mean, we have never discussed this,
Yeah.
but I'm so happy that we are having this conversation on a platform like this. And fantastic stuff, Savini. Really, really good. Lot of respect. Lot of respect. Words are insufficient, and we'll have a detailed chat on it sometime later.
Thank you so
So,
much. Thank you.
Savini, uh, so most welcome. And so, Savini, come to wildlife in India. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Witnessed everything now, 10 years, and pre-COVID, post-COVID. Social media has actually gone a long way in boosting awareness and tourism. What's your take on wildlife in India, and what do you think? What more can be done?
Uh, you're probably not going to like my answer, but social media obviously has a lot of positives of creating awareness really quickly, things going viral really quickly.
Yeah.
That, oh, this particular species needs help, or this particular species was trafficked. So I think information with social media passes really quickly,
Yeah.
which is great, because at least a lot of people then come to know that that exists. For example, the Great Indian Bustard campaign that had happened a couple of years
Correct.
on social media, at least it got to
Correct.
know, to reach a lot of people, that there is that bird and it needed to be saved.
Yeah.
However, I think that more often than not, social media actually has a lot more, a much larger percentage of negative effect from that positive information.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know how to put that to you. I mean, I wish I can give a proper example, but what I would mean to say is that because of this kind of wildlife awareness that's being created, a lot of
Yeah.
people are now traveling to forest for safaris, which is great for my business. Honestly, it's great, but
Yeah.
the kind of behavior then I see when they are there, um, is probably not helping animals.
Okay.
Everything then becomes about making a reel or taking a
Yeah.
selfie with
Correct.
wildlife, or coming as close in proximity as it could, not
Correct.
realizing that it's actually entering their house. you know nobody's asking them whether they want us to be
Correct.
there. So
Correct.
I think although this awareness is positive, I'm not sure whether the reaction to this awareness is a positive one. And I think everyone has
Okay.
to be careful and be informed before they want to have any sort of interaction.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, over the years, more and more petting zoos are also coming up, even in
Correct.
India, even across the
Correct.
world. But petting zoos are actually supposed to be illegal.
Correct.
Why would you touch an animal without asking that animal's opinion on it?
Yeah.
And we have campaigns about good touch, bad touch for humans. People have a problem if somebody touches their baby's cheeks, or like,
Yeah.
somebody taps me on my shoulder, and if they are unknown to me, I'm going to be uncomfortable. And the only difference is I can speak up.
Yeah.
um, who are we to then pat a tiger and say that they're okay with it?
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure whether that is good. And then again, the last thing I would like to say is that I have seen in my own network
Yeah.
so many people having
Yeah.
illegal pets in their houses. For
Oh, is
example,
it?
a
Okay.
tortoise is not a pet. It's an
Yeah.
endangered species. You're not supposed to have it at home. A
Correct.
parakeet, you're not supposed to have it at home.
Correct.
I have seen people with iguanas. For God's sake, I don't even know how, but the number of trafficked animals in India has escalated because so
Yeah.
many influencers then pose with wildlife.
Correct.
So, um, yeah, I mean, I wish that, social media and awareness creating was only positive, but I think it has a lot more negative effect, which is blanketed as positive awareness and positive information. But I think we are far away from, truly accepting and understanding what wildlife really needs from us. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very powerful message, Savini. And, uh, for all those watching, including myself, uh, worth introspecting. This is like totally food for thought, and very, very well said, Savini. So we will take this back, think, and hopefully your message will reach a lot more people, uh, because this whole thing that you mentioned, right, is only increasing by the day. And I really, really hope that this video can encourage at least a few people uh, to become better and more respectful when it comes to wildlife. So fantastic message, Savini, and really, really good food for thought. So, Savini, will come to the last phase of this, you know, journey, uh, and it's been amazing so far chatting with you. So, what's your bold vision for Pashu Pakshi for the next decade, Savini?
Uh, so we have actually two ways we could probably grow. It really depends on whether we manage to get that sort of investment in.
Okay.
So one way obviously would be, like you already mentioned, have more souvenir shops.
Yeah.
Hopefully even in more non-wildlife destinations, like have more
Correct.
generic tourism destinations also speak about conservation and create that sort of awareness. So yeah, having
Correct.
souvenir shops, having airport souvenir shops where there's international
Correct.
footfall, that would
Correct.
definitely be one of my visions, is what I personally want to do.
Yeah.
But there is also another way, because we've realized that we have a very surprisingly high international traffic on our website, and I have not
Okay.
marketed ever. Like,
Oh, correct.
so I don't
Correct.
know how, so I think that there is a lot of international awareness on supporting conservation initiatives in India, because on our website, if you buy a particular product, you're probably helping the conservation of a particular species.
Yeah.
For example, the Hargila army, if you buy, the wrap skirts of Hargila army, or if you buy the skirts of Hargila army, you're actually
Yeah.
helping the conservation initiatives of the greater adjutant stock, which is a
Yeah.
critically endangered bird. So a
Yeah.
lot of international supporters, come on our website to do that, and I think
Yeah.
that that would also be another way for me to grow, where we can, have that sort of footfall, and not only have organizations, wildlife organizations in India on our platform, but also have the world's wildlife organizations
Yeah.
listed on our website, so that
Yeah.
everyone can contribute to conservation. So yeah,
Yeah.
these two, hopefully, if I get the right sort of funding. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic, superb. So I'm sure you'll get there, and Yeah, I'm very, very confident knowing the person that you are. When we catch up again in 2036, Savini, I'm definitely going to catch up with you. So our conversation will be on a completely different level
I
altogether.
hope
I'm
so.
very, very
I
sure.
really hope so.
So fingers crossed, and yeah, best wishes to you. So Savini,
Thank
so I truly believe that single-handedly nothing is possible.
you. Yeah.
There is a whole ecosystem that supports us: family, friends, team. You mentioned about how you grew from X to Y, right? And so they all must be watching, or they will definitely catch this podcast after it's over. So any shout out to them?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, first shout out to Nikhil. I think he's been, rock solid in the support that he's given me um, to go through this. And there are like I have really bad days at times. So shout
Yeah,
out to Nikhil to always be there. Shout out to my mom and dad, who also told me not to give up on what I'm doing, and of course
yeah,
my team. I mean, I think people don't realize how frustrating it can be to maintain community centers.
correct,
There, when you come from a certain education background, when you come from a certain family background, when you come from a certain income, we are not used to seeing such hard hitting caste issues, hierarchical issues, barriers,
correct,
gender
correct.
barriers, um, lot of things that probably in a city we are actually so delusional about that it doesn't exist, but it
Yeah,
actually still exists.
yeah,
So going to our community centers, young girls who are working for me see a very different side, and I'm sure they grow from it, I'm sure they learn from it, but it's definitely not easy. So
yeah.
I think all the Gen Z who works for me are so grounded, and their heads are on their shoulders in the right place, which is so
Superb,
refreshing. All the comments that we
superb.
usually hear about the generation,
Yeah,
I've been fortunate in those who have worked with me and who continue to work with me.
yeah.
So yeah, I there is no ways I can do it without them, because the frustrations that we face in running our social enterprise can be, yeah, really taxing at times.
I can imagine. I can imagine. And I want to use this platform. So I have seen your journey, uh, and I want to use this platform also to thank everyone who works for you, right?
Oh,
And
thank
who
you.
supports you.
Thank
And really, lots of respect for all of you out there who are a part of the Pashu Pakshi team. Uh, like immense respect. Um, I think words are insufficient to describe the kind of work that you all do. And as Savini rightly put it, it all looks very glamorous on social media,
Yeah.
but the reality is very different. And again, as you rightly put it, for people like us who come from metro cities, and to see the kind of issues that take place in tier 2 and tier 3 places, it's something very, very hard to digest, and
Yeah.
to just keep going even after knowing all of this
Yeah.
and absorbing all of this on a day to day basis requires a lot of resilience and resolve. So, like, really, really, hats off to all of you, and more power to all of you. So,
Thank
Savini, um, so I'm sure there'll be some entrepreneurs who will watch this, and there's someone out there. I'm sure there's another Savini out there who's doing a project somewhere with some IIT, who's also planning to start something of her own or his own. So, what tips would you have for wildlife entrepreneurs? Savini? Three tips,
uh oh, specifically for wildlife entrepreneurs. Okay. Well, I think if
or
you
in
want,
general, entrepreneurs in general also, Savini. Three tips that you would want to just give someone who's a budding entrepreneur.
okay, I'm going to give the tips I can give, but I'm not sure how many
Yeah,
people are going to be receptive about it. I think in this world, where everything is so fast moving, e-commerce, people don't want to get up from their seats.
yeah,
10 minutes, things come like a genie. Um, so much quick stuff. So it's so much a volume game. I
yeah,
think as an entrepreneur, you have to question things like, where is all that going? And, are people getting paid correctly? Because
Yeah.
when something is really cheap, someone or something has already paid the price.
Yeah.
You have to remember that. So if you're going to
Yeah.
start your entrepreneurship journey, um, my first tip would be that try to do as much right as you can do.
Got it.
Probably not going to be the easiest way to make your money,
Yeah.
but try to do as right as you can do, because we need good
Yeah.
people in the world. It's okay if your growth is slow. It's a really difficult thing to adjust to and accept, because I know I am in that journey myself. It's a very difficult thing to accept, but it's okay to have a slow growth, because it probably
Okay.
means you have done something right, and it
Yeah.
probably means that you have created a base that is so strong that can withstand things like a COVID. If
Yeah.
you have sudden scale, you're probably going to crumble that fast as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's okay to go slow in a world where
Yeah.
everyone expects you to grow really fast.
Yeah.
And third, you are going to burn out. And that's why
Yeah.
keeping your social life active is super
Yeah.
important. I think
Correct.
your friends, your family, meeting them, doing what you love is super, super
Yeah.
important to keep any sort of sanity. Because as entrepreneurs, we take up everything. There is a day you
Yeah.
would be a janitor, and then there would be day you were a CEO. So
Yeah.
you have to wear so many different hats that you don't want to wear, but you have to wear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is your problem,
Yeah.
and it can get really exhausting. So yeah,
Yeah.
having your social circle and maintaining it is, I think, also super important. So yeah, these three things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have seen that, right? The way you take your dancing also so seriously.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that is something that also fuels you,
Oh yeah,
refuels you rather, and
totally.
just
Yeah,
keeps you going.
yeah, totally.
Superb, superb. So Savini, so World Wildlife Day is coming up on 3rd March,
Yeah.
and what's your message to the world, Savini, on World Wildlife Day?
uh People who are already into appreciating wildlife, there is
Yeah.
this term called tree blindness, which even I
Okay.
have to some extent.
Okay.
It means that when you see nature, you'll see a bird, but you'll identify a bird. You'll see the tiger, but you'll identify tiger, and you'll see nature, and it all looks green. But
Yeah.
every single species of plant or tree that is there is of equal importance.
Yeah.
Um, so that is obviously for people who are really into it. I'm giving this
Yeah.
example for people who have just started their journey to appreciate nature or look
Yeah.
outside their window. All I would like to say is that in the next 6 months, try to get to know at least 10 of your neighborhood birds. They are
Yeah.
your neighbors. They don't stay in
Yeah.
houses, they do stay in their houses. And they
Yeah.
share space with you. They breathe the same air. They see the same
Yeah.
sunlight. Um,
Yeah.
Try to get to know 10 birds. And believe me, in
Correct.
Mumbai, you'll see more than them. Just try to
Yeah.
get to know their names. And you'll be baffled as to how much nature is actually around us and we don't see it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be my message. Just notice more than anything else.
Yeah. So, uh, so the the crux of 2026 World Wildlife Day is to just notice, just be
Yes.
observant, just
Yes.
notice, look around, and I think stay curious. If you see something, try to read up on it, try to understand that bird or animal better, and I think that will make us more conscious human beings and
Exactly.
help us to
Exactly.
understand wildlife more better, and in turn understand the ecosystem more better. So very, very powerful message, Savini. And really the takeaway from this whole conversation, to observe and to stay curious. So fantastic message, Savini. So Savini, uh, yeah, so just, it's been an absolute blast. So we've come to the end of this conversation. Absolute blast hosting you, Savini.
Thank you
uh,
so much
I
for having me here.
Yeah, I
As someone
mean,
who knows you
it,
circles.
sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'm saying thank you for having me here as the first person in your Inspired Circle series.
No, no,
Um,
absolutely. So, Savini, very, very candidly, India needs more people like you, and we need more Savinis who can impact local communities in this way. The kind of stories that we heard. In fact, Savini, let's have another conversation sometime and hear more stories, right? The positive ones,
yeah,
which will, in turn, not just inspire maybe the people out there, but uh, people in metro cities. We really need to hear more of these stories because we feel that we live in a whole bubble of our own,
yeah,
right? But there are so many positive
we
things
do.
happening across India which don't come across in media often, and these platforms and from people like you will hear more of this. And keep rocking with the team, Savini. You have always inspired me. I'm sure this episode will also inspire many, many more people for years to
I hope.
come. And I am reiterating, and I'm very, very confident, Savini, that uh, in 2036 we'll be having a completely different conversation. I'm very sure.
Oh, I hope so. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much,
And
Abhishek.
to the audience who's there, if you enjoyed this conversation, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with more other people, who can in turn just listen to this, become more observant, and become more curious. And before I end this conversation, four must do's for people right now. We scrolled through the Pashu Pakshi website. We saw a lot of features. We went through a certain, we looked at the different community initiatives as well. So just go through the site. There are a lot of purpose driven products out there. And I also noticed that you can give a gift card to someone. So next time there is an
Yeah,
occasion, and you really want to support uh, entrepreneurs like Savini, please keep this in mind, and definitely visit the Pashu Pakshi website and give a gift card to someone, right? It can just change someone's life, and more importantly, the next lady out there in another center can end up buying a scooter for herself. So that's the
exactly.
impact that it can make.
Exactly.
uh, Kanha, Madla, Dhamna, and Valmiki, these four centers you need to keep in mind. uh, Write into the Pashu Pakshi website, WhatsApp the number, go for an experiential tour at these centers. I can bet you that you will definitely enjoy it. Next trip to Bandhavgarh or Tadoba, visit the craft for conservation shops out there. And the last point is repeat and encourage others to do points 1, 2, and 3. So, so thank you so much again, Savini. That's a wrap on our stellar first episode. And looking forward to seeing you again soon. And until next time, for all those watching, see you guys in episode 2, and have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Thank you, Savini.
Thank you for
See you.
having me. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.